Hello, Onyx Path, and everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm Kelly, and I am the storyteller of Aberrant, Utopia North, and we're really happy to be here. Normally, you would see us over on our own channel, twitch.tv/dorktales, but we are happy to be here with Onyx Path, doing Aberrant, which is a fantastic game in the storypath system that is all about superheroes and the awful things that they do with their powers. So like I said, I'm the storyteller Kelly. I use he and him pronouns, and I actually played the first edition of Aberrant as one of my first role-playing games when it came out little around 20 years ago. It's actually the first role-playing book second role-playing book I ever bought. And I still have it in the next room, actually. So I'm really excited to do this with second edition, which is a much different game. You might have seen us on Onyx Path before doing Scion Heroes for the Holidays over the holidays a little while back. But without further ado, I want to introduce my cast because these are some phenomenal friends and some great people who are going to bring a lot of entertainment to you over the next few weeks. Why don't we just go ahead and do this in order right now? Hello, Robin.
Hello, everyone. I'm Robin. I use she, they pronouns. You probably see me a lot on the Dork Tales channel. The past year, I've been in a lot of games, and I'm really looking forward to Aberrant because I love superheroes. I am a complete superhero nerd, so I'm really looking forward to playing this game. This is my first kind of World of Darkness outside of, something outside of D&D, so I'm nervous.
It's technically not World of Darkness.
Not World of Darkness.
Technically not, but
you're using World, but not World of Darkness.
It's Dark World, yeah. You're using D10s.
D10s, yes.
Which is close enough, really. You're using a much higher quality of dice.
Stu's here. Hi, Stu.
You only need half as many numbers.
Hey, Strange Brood, good to see you in the chat right there. All right, pass over to Bryn.
Hey, my name's Bryn. I use she pronouns or they them pronouns. I've played. You might see me on a few of Kelly's games and some of the charity streams. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm excited to do superhero stuff.
I can't wait to talk about your character because your character is going to be ridiculous, and I love it.
Yeah, she's kind of like awful and amazing. I'm pretty excited.
All right, say hello to Krista.
Hello, I'm Krista. I use she, they pronouns. And I have done some stuff on Dork Tales, so you can find me over there doing some D&D and Star Trek and a whole bunch of other stuff.
Hunter the Vigil.
Hunter the Vigil, yes, absolutely. I am familiar with Storypath. I played some Scion, but I played first edition Scion, so it's a little bit of a learning
totally different.
curve. Yeah. But I'm excited. I've made myself a cheat sheet. I'm very excited, and I love a good crunch. I love lots of rules, so I'm excited.
And finally, down in the corner, the man that makes us look this pretty, our graphic specialist and our resident rogue with the plan, Michael.
I rarely have a plan, especially today. Hi everyone, I'm Michael, he, him pronouns, and yeah, I'm professional graphic designer and professional at sitting down in this corner trying to look like I know what I'm doing. I've played a whole bunch of Dork Tales games. I was in Star Trek. Let's see.
Yeah, you're in Star Trek, Curse of Strahd. You're in Cyberpunk right now.
I'm in Cyberpunk right now. So, I mean, now I'm here. I just bounce around.
And so yeah, I'm really happy to have you, Michael. I'm really glad that you made it. We actually were potentially going to have to postpone because your water heater exploded and flooded your office.
There's about an inch of water in my office. I'm still drying it out as we speak, but yeah, I'm at the kitchen table and it looks pretty good.
It does. It looks like it's on fire, but yeah, well, I mean, if you can't stand it,
that's how you dry it out, right?
Yeah.
Just light the apartment on fire to dry out the water. It's fine.
If it's got to be anywhere, it's got to be the kitchen where the fire starts.
There you go.
So, as far as I understand, aside from the jump start, I think we're the first Trinity Continuum Aberrant game on Onyx Path. We just didn't get that first slot if you include the jump start, so I'm not going to include it. We're the first. So I'm going to assume that no one on Onyx Path knows what Aberrant is if you're watching. And so the basic story of Aberrant is that this is set in the far-flung future of, I think we're in 2028 at this point. Recently, a satellite in orbit exploded and irradiated the Earth, covering it with this strange radiation. Not long after, people started displaying strange and unusual powers. For example, there was a huge burning building. I believe it was in New York. Could have been Pittsburgh. I don't have the sheet in front of me. But a fireman on duty was able to save a bunch of people by literally absorbing the fire out of the building and into his body, becoming the first televised superhero on record. He later took on the name Fireman. Really inventive. And I know, right? Yeah, he stole it from you, because I know Ignition, you want that.
Reach.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of a hard sell. So that is kind of like the beginning of the superhero age, and right now we're in 2028, I believe, is when the game is set. It started with that whole timeline in 2019. Is originally, I believe it happened in 2008, and they bumped it a little bit. For vibe, this has a very much kind of like an Overwatch meets The Boys kind of vibe. And if anybody has been watching it recently, a new series is on Amazon Prime called Invincible, based on the Robert Kirkman comics. And that kind of has the vibe that I'm shooting for with this. Kind of like a little bit of a blend of The Boys, a little bit of blend of Invincible, and like a nice splash of like kind of like Overwatch dynamics. So yeah, it's a world very much like our own, where I've got the timeline up finally. Boop boop boop.
Thank you, Anomalous Thracian. Thank you for pointing out that it is in fact New York.
It was NYFFD. Yeah, I thought so. And I've literally just got a picture of them up my screen right now.
There you go.
So we just hit it where, yeah, it was 2018 is when the eruptions began. So it's been 10 years. We're in 2019. And our game is called Utopia North. It is about an organization called Project Utopia, basically the Overwatch organization that sets up all the superhero teams. We're diverging from canon a tiny bit. In canon, there are only a few superhero teams kind of located at geographical centers. North America's is, I believe, in Mexico. But I was thinking, like, I think it's more interesting if we have smaller, more like, like the Teen Titans type of teams, kind of geographically located. So our game is taking place in a version of this continuity where the basic geographical locations have smaller teams that kind of work under the umbrella. And in this case, our characters are the third ever Canadian team. Second, if you talk to the Quebec team, they don't consider themselves a Canadian team. But there's one in Toronto, there's one in Quebec, and there's now one in Vancouver, British Columbia, where this is set, which is actually very local to us. Most of us are inside of British Columbia. In fact, all of us are inside of British Columbia this time. So I'm used to having people who are like in Halifax playing, and that's so we will try to make sure that there are plenty of easy to understand references for non-Canadians. But if you look at the screen right now and know anything about Canada, 3 out of 4 of the superhero names over there are jokes. So Rush, of course, is that fantastic band. Snow Angel is just a quick step from the Blue Angel squadron of fighter pilots, but also is what
the Blue Angels and the Snowbirds.
Yeah, so it's kind of a hybrid there. Molson
Right?
Muscle is what happens when you drink a bunch of Molson beer and get in bar fights. And Ignition, is that a Canadian reference, or is it just a good name?
That's what I gotta go swap out on the Camaro this weekend. Like,
that's right.
It's constantly up on blocks, and it's always my weekend project.
So yeah,
It's an important part if you want to like go places.
You gotta go places, yeah.
that was loud. Sorry. All right, so this is going to be our episode 0. So tonight we are just going to be talking, I guess today, it's so weird to be running at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I love it. We are going to be talking about like what our superhero game is going to be like, what we're bringing to this, what our expectations of each other are, and what your expectations are. Now, we've already built the characters, and we're still stumbling through the rules. For those of you who've watched us play Scion, or at least me play Scion, very similar rules, just some words changed out for the most part. But this is the first time with you 4 playing 2nd edition Scion type of mechanics, or the story path system as it exists. So there are going to be some things that we're going to have to go over, and I'll try to explain them as concisely as possible. If you have any questions, please interrupt me. Please ask me, because I want to make sure we're all on the same page here, and it's early enough and I'm fresh enough I should be able to explain it. So first off, that is Aberrant. So we are playing a group of superheroes who are brought together in Vancouver, British Columbia, to basically be the new Canadian role models. And we're definitely leaning into that joke. So definitely enjoy this, because out of the entire cast, Bryn, are you part American? Or are you whole Canadian?
No, why
Okay.
would I be part American?
Because you're pretty sassy.
No. You're thinking of me because I was almost American. I was
That's
3
right.
months. I was 3 months shy of being born in Washington.
Okay.
Yeah.
So out of the group
Really?
here, I've lived in Canada for almost 20 years now, but I'm originally an American, so I understand how Americans think about Canada, which is that they don't. And that's one of the jokes I'm going to keep doing. But I think I've been naturalized enough that I can make the joke without getting killed.
See, Fayecaster, who I know is in the chat, makes fun of me for saying I'm not that Canadian. So when I did my little TikTok explaining that we were the A team, they came on and made fun of me about like, oh, well, you always say you're not a Canadian. I was like, hey, an American picked that name, so what?
So, and all right, so real quick, so that's Aberrant. This is the game that we're going to be playing. What I want to ask is, real quick, why do you like role-playing games, and why do you like superhero stuff? Because I'll start off just real quick to kind of give you a sense of things. I love superheroes because that is one of the ways that I learned how to read was through comic books as a kid. Definitely one of the ways that I was encouraged to keep reading. My mom had a rule with me because we were growing up overseas. I was an army brat, and whenever I would go to a bookstore, I wasn't allowed things at toy stores, but anytime we were at a bookstore, I was always allowed to pick one thing. Like no matter what, that was her rule. If it was a book, I could have it. And a lot of that was comic books. And I've had a lot of comic books that are probably worth a lot of money that I have colored in over the years. But I love superheroes. I regularly watch superhero movies and bawl my eyes out because that's one of my soft spots. When Cap caught the hammer, like, you know, in every theater there was that guy that screams and then everybody else freaks out. Or like I was the guy who screamed first. And then I cried my freaking eyes out because I've been waiting like 21 movies for that.
I pictured you jumping up and just after Thor goes, I knew it. You were like, I knew it too.
Well, I brought like 30 people with me to the movie, so I think they would have been like, yeah, he did. He talked about
Yeah.
And I love role-playing games because I'm a storyteller. I'm a writer by profession and by passion, and I really like collaborative storytelling and drama. And this way, I really love running role-playing games a lot like superhero epics. I ran a Mage the Ascension LARP for about a decade. And at the end of the day, it was as much like an MCU movie as it was a Mage game in a lot of ways. And I think that really made it special, having that level of melodrama, but also like that type of humanistic altruism at the core of it. I eat that stuff up. But what about you guys? What do you like? Anybody jump in?
Well,
go ahead.
I can
Michael.
easily jump in first because honestly, I was part of that Mage game, and like Kelly said, it felt like an entry into the MCU universe, and it just came natural to me being a graphic designer because at the end of that thing, I actually made a couple DVD covers of the actual game and gave them out to the cast afterwards, so everyone kind of had a keepsake. And I have mine up on the shelf there still. I mean, I can go grab mine if you want, but
Yeah, mine's on the shelf here, but I can't see where it is.
I'll grab it. Just a second.
Okay.
But someone else jump in.
Okay, Krista.
Awesome. Yeah. Superheroes were never a big part of my growing up per se, but a lot of my friends in sort of early to late high school and beyond that were huge superhero nuts and really big into comic books. Like you may not know it now, but I was a jock growing up, so I didn't really get into a lot of, I guess, traditionally nerdy things until quite a bit later in my life. And so the same people that introduced me to comic books and superheroes were very, very important to me, and they're the same people that introduced role-playing games to me. So I've got a good history of having really good feelings about those things because of the people that introduced me to them. And I think they're both, superheroes and role-playing are both really interesting ways to tell stories, which are very different from the novels. Like I grew up reading novels a lot and fantasy novels, so it's fun to kind of be part of that.
That's awesome. How about Bryn or Robin? Oh yeah, there they are.
I even have them in old Blockbuster cases that have like clearance sale
Oh my
stickers
God,
all over them,
So good.
including the stuff on the background
And the special
showing, like,
features. The special features are so good.
explosions, special
Oh my
features.
God, that's amazing.
That's fantastic.
And honestly, it just became a natural collaboration. Kelly and I have been like pushing out some like amazing stuff ever since. So
Oh, dude.
thank you for inspiring me.
Thank you for helping me. Thank you. I don't know how to respond to that. Thank you for being
High five.
inspired. Yeah, actually, I gotta put the Utopia North logo on a T-shirt this week, because that logo's really dope. I want to know like a polo shirt, you know, like it's so
Or even
good.
like a hoodie, just like with the
We can
stuff
do
on
it.
the
Like
side.
the new sites. Anyway, well, I'm not gonna talk about merch on someone else's channel because right now, if you're watching this on YouTube later, we're broadcasting on Onyx Path, and then 2 weeks later it goes up on YouTube, and then gets rebroadcast on our own channel, twitch.tv Dorktales. Which come give us a follow and give Onyx Path a follow because they're good people. And thank you for having us on, Travis. I really appreciate it. Superheroes.
I'll go. I was always an outcast as a kid.
No,
Crazy, right? Can you imagine? The chick with the blue hair was an outcast growing up.
I know you're so
I was
charming
much
now.
more
Though.
tame. I was much more tame. Thank you. But also like I grew up wanting to rebel, kind of like my parents always said, "Oh yeah, we named you Robin as your firstborn, so no one know if you're a man or woman," like on resumes and stuff. And I've kind of internalized that, and that's been like I've want to never stay in a box. So like I loved watching like Star Wars and Lord of the Rings and superhero movies kind of really inspired me because I wanted to be that badass. Like I myself wasn't very badass as a person, but I was like, I want to be that. They're my role models. Like, oh fuck, Carrie Fisher is like my heart. I love her. She was like forged me as a child growing up. That's also Star Trek too.
You got your Star Trek. You got Lord of the Rings tattoos.
Nerd. I don't have Lord of the Rings tattoo. I want to get it though.
Oh, you totally should.
I need to get an artist in Victoria. And then role playing kind of came along. And yeah, it gets you the opportunity to actually insert yourself into these stories, and you actually do get to have these epic moments. So I was always a kid that daydreamed. Like in car rides, I was the one always looking out the window and things were going on in my head, you know, outside the window, and I was putting things together. So I was always an imaginative kid, and this is a great expression.
Did you have the car runners? Have you seen that meme that's been going around? Like the kind of like they're kind of like black dogs or jaguars that you imagined running alongside the car.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
I have
okay.
I have like scenes going on. Like I'm on horseback or something fighting people. Like I did that.
Did anybody else have the just for random imagination stuff, the phone poles flipping over and knocking into each other, kind of like dominoes?
I didn't do. I always imagined pulling up and off of the sidewalk every time there was a
ramp.
like,
Yeah, I did that too.
So I always imagined like, whoop, 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 whoop.
Yeah.
Sorry, just weird nerdy kid stuff that I'm always curious about. Yeah, because we never talk about this stuff as people. So Bryn,
I always imagine being like the guy from BioShock 3 with the skyhook on the lines from pole to pole, just like swinging along.
Yeah,
Nice.
I did that with Spider-Man webbing, right? Same idea, right?
Yeah.
What are you, Brent? Why do you like games and superheroes?
I was gonna add on to what you were just saying. When I was a kid, sorry, I just remembered this.
Okay.
I got like a mirror, like the little handheld mirrors, and I held it against my chest and was like looking down into it, and then walked around my entire house like that, like pretending I was looking down and walking on the ceiling, which was very disorienting.
That's so cool.
That is really
It was
cool.
really cool.
I want to do that now. That's awesome.
I know, I do this after game. I'm gonna do that.
I highly recommend it. Sorry, you're just making me think of. I mean, if that doesn't illustrate it, I was a really weird, nerdy kid.
You're such a normal adult.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
you're
just
normal.
look normal.
You just, true. Yeah. Look normal.
I'm like normal on the surface. I've learned how to.
See,
Yeah,
I just said
sneaky.
fuck that to looking normal on the surface. So I'm just like, nope, not anymore.
Nice.
Yeah, in terms of superheroes, like, I mean, I think there's a bunch of like really interesting questions about, like you said, Kelly, like this altruistic world, you know, and having like very human characters who are suddenly given an enormous amount of power. you know, in that world, and like they're able to shape it, but then suddenly it's like, okay, so like your morality is really easy when you can't do anything, but now that you like have all this power, suddenly morality is way more complicated than you thought it was, you know.
That's actually
so
one
I'm
of the
definitely like, I don't know, that aspect has always, I don't know, I think superheroes are cool.
Superheroes are so cool, and that's one of the reasons why I think nobody's done a good Superman movie in quite a while, because they keep making the stakes big when that's not the point of Superman, right? Like the point isn't about like Superman fighting something, it's about him trying to be everything to everyone, you know. And it's like every character, every superhero has their own emotional kryptonite that is at the core of their being, right? Like what happens when Batman can't think his way around something? What happens when the Flash has to slow down and just be, you know, etc., right? And on that, who's your favorite superhero? Like, if I'll let you pick like one Marvel, one DC, or one, you know, all third imprint. But like, because I'm a pretty big fan of Batman, if you can see. But I mean, I think Superman's a much better character, and Spider-Man's my guy. Like,
I just watched the Zack Snyder Justice League cut,
yeah,
and when he like the kid gets into the car with Batman, and he's like, "Oh, what's your superpower?" And he's like, looks over, and he's like, "I'm rich."
That's who you want to be, isn't it?
Yeah.
I just think it's so funny.
Is that Elon Musk right there? Like,
Yeah.
by the way, did you see the meme?
What's your superpower? Money.
Did you see the image of Jeff Bezos? He got to like rock that robot. He used like a giant mecha exoskeleton the other day, and he ended up just looking like Lex Luthor again. Like he can't stop looking like Lex Luthor.
Oh,
he just
boy.
is Lex Luthor.
Yeah, is
Spider-Man.
Lex Luthor.
Oh, chat's exploding for Spider-Man.
Yep, all Spider-Man.
See, I'm always for DC, Wonder Woman, because again, I female role models that are fucking badass. It's just I love Wonder Woman in Marvel.
Wonder Woman got good. Like
Right.
her stuff over the last like 15 years is really that's all I know her from, right? She's a badass.
She's such a badass. I love her so much. And it's funny because my dad also loves Wonder Woman. Like he grew up watching
with
Wonder
Linda
Woman
Carter
too. Yep. He fucking loves Linda Carter. It's not funny because my mom's name is Linda too. So he's like, Dad,
oh good.
did you fall in love with her because of her name?
It doesn't hurt.
But yeah, so right? And that's where I get all my nerd from, is from my dad. So yeah, and then Marvel, probably Thor, because I just fucking love Thor.
Yeah, MCU Thor especially, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, MCU Thor.
MCU 100%. Thor is so good. I don't love MCU Spider-Man very much though. Like I like him okay. Give me that Into the Spider-Verse Spider-Man.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, all the characters into the Spider-Verse are just phenomenal.
Peter B. Parker. Peter A. Parker and Peter B. Parker. I don't remember what the first one was called. I think it was
superheroes post trauma are much more interesting than young perky superheroes.
Exactly. Well, who are your favorite? You, because like who everybody else? So we got Spider-Man, we got Wonder Woman, we have who else? Is someone gonna say Spawn?
Do you want like a really old school?
Blade.
I'll give you a really old school throwback.
Some motherfuckers always gotta try to ice skate uphill.
So when I was a kid, they had this Disney movie called Condor Man. It was about this comic book artist who basically drew Condor Man, and he like teamed up with this, I don't know, genius guy who actually was like such a fan of Condor Man. He made like all of his superhero stuff and basically turned this artist into the superhero. And then they went off on adventures, and the bad guys didn't actually realize that Condor Man was a real thing and ended up fighting bad guys. And it was amazing as a kid. And
as an artistic kid, I wonder why
absolutely.
You thought that would be good.
I mean, part of it is like what this character is going to be about. So it's kind of the turning something from your head into reality.
I think that's why I want to like Green Lantern more than I do, or I want a good Green Lantern property, because as a writer, that's the whole like your imagination powers the ring and your willpower, and I'm like, hell yes. And then the Ryan Reynolds movie's like race cars.
One of the Green Lanterns is a artist.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Which is just natural.
And he's
really.
like the best, yeah.
I actually thought that was one of the good things about Heroes when it came out, because there was the artist who he would get high on heroin, but then he could draw the future as his power. Like Heroes was a really good show for the first like half season. And then it But
like many shows, it just went on too long.
Yeah.
Kyle Rayner.
Kyle Rayner,
was
thank
the
you.
artist. Yeah. So what about you, Krista? Who do you like?
I don't know. I'm not super familiar with a lot of them. My
Super
favorite DC character is Etta Candy.
Oh, of course, because you've cosplayed her before.
I cosplayed her from the film, but in the film she's kind of like, she's perky and she's delightful, but she's very much a side character. Why, thank you.
Not the side character part. Not that.
And arguable, but no, she in the comics is incredible. Like, she's the first friend that Diana makes when she comes over. She is a plus size character in, like, from the beginning. She's always been a plus size character, and she kicks ass. She has tons of love interests. Like, she is this amazing, wonderful, like, fully formed human that just like chills with Diana and like goes with her places and like stands her ground.
She's like an Olympic boxer or something, right? Like she's like tough as nails.
And a cheerleader. Like, she never stops being girly. Like, she's a cheerleader. She runs a sorority. Her father owns a chocolate empire, which is why she's Candy. She tries, there's a whole story arc where she gets married off to someone who turns out to be a Nazi, and at the wedding ceremony she just decks him in front of everybody.
which is what you do with Nazis.
Exactly. And this was in the 40s and 50s. Like, she's incredible.
This I don't actually, this isn't my channel, so I don't know if I should talk about this, but you should definitely check out what the Red Skull is up to these days and who he's being written about. Because that's an interesting thing right now. But that's not for this channel to discuss.
However, if I am going to say actual superhero, Miss Martian from Young Justice.
Okay.
Her Hello, Megan is so good.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Her whole arc of her is just wonderful.
I feel like similarly like Starfire.
Yeah, because you love Starfire.
I love Starfire.
Have you cosplayed her?
I'm working on a cosplay of her right now.
Good.
Yeah.
Because everybody here is a cosplayer as well, which you will see. By the way, this is like casual mode for this game. Next game you'll see us in different outfits because we like to perform and play on camera in costume because it's so much better.
It's so much fun.
And with musical accompaniment, because I may have bought the rights to several soundtracks that are superhero themed.
Heck yeah.
They also worked for Scion, so it was a discount. Okay, so that's your favorite characters. Why don't we talk about who we're actually playing, though? Okay, so let's actually get into who we're playing, and what I want to talk about is who we're playing, what connections we have with each other, the basic rules for the game, just so that I can explain them to you, and then let's talk a little bit about like just some of our expectations and consent for going forward with this. Okay. When we get to that subject, though, I do want to say I am not going to ask for any for the public reveal of any triggers or sensitive issues that you are unwilling to explain on camera or talk about. If there's anything at all, we of course will talk about it on the side privately, one-on-one. So do not feel compelled to express anything that you are apprehensive about sharing publicly. Okay? Because I respect you enough that I'm not going to do that. And also, storytellers, respect your players enough to not ever put them on the spot in front of other people, because that's a dick move.
Yep.
Okay, so character. Who wants to talk about their character first? The basic idea is that you are a Canadian who has erupted sometime, probably within the past 6 months to a year, and got plucked up by the government and thrown into this new team, kind of with your consent, but now you are you have achieved the two things that every Canadian wants: worldwide acclaim and a government pension.
Yes. That second one's legit.
The first one is worldwide acclaim because most like movie stars are Canadian. It seems like every third one is Canadian.
Yeah.
To be a Canadian that everyone thinks is an American.
This is no, that you might have thought that when you signed the contract, but then they're like, actually, we're gonna put you in Vancouver, and you're like,
true.
We're gonna portray you as super Canadian. Don't you worry.
We're gonna lean hard into that.
You're gonna wear a maple leaf on your ass. It's fine.
All right. So who wants to talk about who they are? I am curious, as I believe that I can't use the last name Tabernac for the character because I think it's probably too profane to use as the character. But your team leader is
Technically a
this
swear.
legendary super spy named Jacques Maple. I don't know, like, well, it's either Maple or Mapel. I don't know. Jacques Mapel.
Jacques Mapel. That's like saying Je m'appelle.
I know,
almost,
it
which
was
is
the
kind
joke.
of funny.
His
Yeah,
name is
Jacques
Jay
Mapel.
Mapel.
Je m'appelle.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good.
Poutine.
Yeah, you were having
no.
that. Je m'appelle.
Jay Mapel.
That tabernacle. He just says tabernacle every
Tabernacle.
once in a while under his breath.
And I have
Oh,
already
and
so
in French he says je m'appelle, je m'appelle.
Je
m'appelle,
m'appelle.
je
Je
m'appelle.
m'appelle.
Oh, no.
Oh, you should totally have an ally on your team whose name, or there should be another superhero in one of the other things. Because so far, the other superheroes, there are some probably in Cascadia, like Washington, Oregon, California. There's probably a team there. There's definitely a team in Quebec. There's definitely a team over in Ontario. So I'm pretty sure there's at least one other superhero name whose name is Gem Apple.
There you
Down
go.
in Oregon, yeah. Down in Oregon.
Gem Appel. But if you come up with any
That
dumb
one's
superhero
Ontario.
names for us to use, or any good ones, not dumb adjacent.
Punny is probably
Punny.
the
Funny,
best.
but
punny
could
Punny.
theoretically be used, right? Because let's be honest, all the good names are taken. I made superhero. We had a superhero episode of our Mage the Ascension LARP back in the day, where everybody got pulled into a marauder, a crazy mage's mindscape, where everything this mage believed becomes reality, and all the characters became superheroes. Coming up with all of the alternate personalities for the characters with names that had not been used, high profile, at least in comics, took like 12 hours of research. And even
Jeez.
that, because everything's been used. They're like
Yes, everything's been used.
Yeah.
3,000 comic characters. Use what you do what you can. I think I used Nighthawk, but that's been used 3 times since
Yeah.
for like our Batman character. And like, anyway. All right, so who wants to go first? Whose character are we going to meet?
Pick someone, Kelly.
I picked Krista. So
Oh,
Krista,
no.
you're playing a character who is known by the public as Molson Muscle presently. And
She
actually,
hates it.
why does she
She
hate it?
Do you have
hates
it.
sponsorship?
I think she
I
does
like
have
that you
sponsorship.
She absolutely does commercials for Molson. Like,
Perfect.
And she hates it.
Amazing.
and she hates it.
Does she even
Ugh.
drink?
No.
Is
no,
she a
she's
teetotaler?
absolutely straight. Oh, totally a teetotaler. Yeah,
Oh my god.
100%.
She should do the commercials for Molson, but not like get paid for the commercial. She just does them, and they have to like donate to like different scientific causes or whatever.
That's what
Uses
she
it
ends.
to like
Yeah,
fund research. You know,
Yeah.
it's like
She does it as a tax write-off.
absolutely. Well, not even. She just wants it. It's like, no, you're not donating to me. You're paying to this.
You're
Like,
donating
it
to
doesn't even go
science.
through me. Doesn't even touch. I don't even touch
Right.
science. So Catherine Christie is a scientist. She grew up in probably lower mainland somewhere, like Coquitlam or Poco
so-
or something like that.
Lower Vancouver, for those of you who don't
Lower
know.
Vancouver.
Just
yeah.
before the border.
Exactly, somewhere between Vancouver and the border. She did her I literally researched schools for her scientific achievements.
Okay.
So she did her bachelor's of science in biochem and physics with a minor in computer science at UBC.
Okay.
Then she went to Ryerson to do her PhD in biomedical engineering. She did her PhD in astrophysics at McGill, and then went to the University of Cambridge to do her PhD in biochemistry.
Okay, so she is diverse. Her brain is potent. And is this before or after her eruption?
So this is before, but it was like post eruption. So she's done all of her schooling on novas. And so she studied them. She's been doing scientific research, like all of her dissertations and everything she's done has always been focused on novas. And then she had her eruption and didn't get any mental abilities and is just strong as hell.
And how
And
does she
she's
feel?
so mad about it.
She's so mad about this. So, and she is a pretty normal person comparatively, right?
Yes.
What is different about her? Like, does she have? Does the government given her a battle cry or something that she has to say? Like, it's Molson time.
Probably. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't thought about that, but probably.
You just
And-
like carry a can around and then just like crush it against your forehead or something.
It's just one empty can.
I did take what the little crunchy talk here. I did take Mega Crush as one of my edges. So probably, yeah.
I'm your
Bam.
your name, like you battle cry
Oh.
could be like, I've got a crush on you, or something like that. I don't
Or
know.
oh yeah, they
Pull
keep trying to
pull
like
out the can and pop it and pour it out and then crush it and go, that's you.
exactly.
cold one with the boys.
But every time she says it is, I guess it's time to crush a cold one with the boys.
Actually, Plastic Age plays is really right. That's very much Fairchild from Gen 13, if you ever read it.
I don't think I've read that one.
She's like this super, actually she's a redhead too, so she's super
Perfect.
strong, super hot, super smart, and is like, I believe she's the team leader. It's been like a long time since I've read, I have the trade somewhere around here, but yeah, that's her whole thing, is that she's like, she's basically like super smart rogue in many ways.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Like
yeah.
just minus the power. So I guess super
Just
smart,
kinda
smart,
sassy,
smart.
whatever.
Yeah, right. Super strong,
Yeah.
can fly and stuff. But she's
Just
great.
Googled it and now I want to cosplay this character.
But yes, so Catherine is not super excited. Anyone that tries to call her like Molson or the Muscle, like in person, she's like, please, God, just call me Catherine. I need away from this, please. She was very excited when Project Utopia reached out to her because she was like, good, my research is finally being recognized. And they were like, oh, no, you're going to be on this team and out in the field and you're going to be kicking ass. And so she's been secretly trying to like, because she has access to places, to some of the people there, she's been like talking to the scientists and being like, so what are your thoughts on this? And maybe you want to talk about like this happening? And like, I didn't.
Oh yeah, can you sign this for my kid?
Exactly. But it's really for me. Haha. Well, I didn't know you have
I
kids.
like to
Yeah, I
imagine
do.
her like coming in and being like, so I read through your report and I left a few notes.
Yes.
And they're like, this wasn't supposed to go to you. And she's like, it's fine.
It's fine. It's
Why
fine,
is the
it's fine.
file cabinet broken?
Yeah, right. Just pulls it open.
Amazing.
Just like,
I
Yes,
guess
like,
it wasn't
so
locked.
much.
right? It's like power doors or whatever, and they're like, "This is a secure area." You're like, "It's fine, it's fine,
It's
fine,
fine.
it's fine."
Is it really though? Is it really secure?
You just
Is it
open
really
the door.
secure? Pfft.
Yeah, right.
So what powers does she have? Let's talk crunch for a second. So what can she do?
Okay, so I spent most of my XP into Mega Might. She's 3 dots in Mega Might.
Okay.
And 1 dot in Mega Stamina.
Okay.
I did end up actually I'll do that at the end because we'll go by how many points I ended up having to spend on things. As a human, I took some edges of enlightening calculation, photographic memory, and 2 dots in library, because that's her getting secret access into things.
Okay. That makes sense.
As per the Project Utopia, and I guess all of us are going to have this, is the 1 dot of fame, which she hates, but she accepts it as part of the thing. I took a dot in Mega Crush, which ups your scale for destroying inanimate objects. I took Mega Lifting, which increases my scale for lifting things, as well as throwing them. I took 2 dots in Toughness, which gives me some armor, as well as a scale when it comes to the defense.
And so if you
durability.
If you are coming into this having never played any StoryPath system game and are just watching this for the first time, StoryPath is a very unique system. And I mean that not to be charitable, I mean that really bluntly. It's very unique because it is a normal storytelling system game that is inverted on itself in many ways. So most storytelling games that Onyx Path or the World of Darkness have put out in the past tend to be attribute primary. So it doesn't really matter what skill you use, you're going to use your intelligence score. And then you kind of go downward from there. And combat tends to be about defeating an enemy, usually by dealing a significant amount of damage. In this game, everything is skill primary. So if you are approaching something with the intent to punch it, you can punch something smart. Like you can use your intelligence to hit specifically. You can use your dexterity to hit something precisely. You can use your composure to win a fight by just being the calmest one in the fight and putting your punch where it needs to be. That's a really interesting system. All of the powers, instead of functioning on just a very I'm trying to think about it. Normally it would just be like a simple scale, like number of successes rolled. But in this, it's more of kind of like an XY axis of what you're doing on kind of like I guess kind of a logarithmic scale. So when Krista is talking about scale, we are using these things called scale charts to see what level of this thing she is affecting things on. So, for example, I'm going to try to make this quick because I know that hearing mechanics are never fun. But if you are using, say, a scale of... Sorry, I was just helping update some character sheets a minute ago. But for example, like a scale of range. If you have a power that everything starts close range is basically like I can pop you in the face with a fist. Then it goes to short range, which is you're across a room from someone. And then it goes medium range, which is across, say, like a baseball field or like a football field from someone. Long range, which is like you might be able to kind of see them if they wave their hands type of thing. And then it goes further than that. Depending on your powers, your basic abilities might mean that instead of kicking a soccer ball into medium range, Krista can kick it into orbital range with one success. And that is basically where we do scale and things like that. It's interesting, and we'll try to make it easy for you to follow along when we play.
That's what the mega lifting, for example, is I can use my quantum points, and for every point that I use, I can increase my scale for purposes of power. So my mega might gives me to scale, puts me at scale 4 for regular physical traits, but then I can put an additional 3 into that, so I can go up to scale 7 just to lift things.
To give you a rough example of what that means in scale, Krista, at number 1, this is the standard level for a human. So say like picking up something that is curling a 25-pound dumbbell, or say a 20-pound, because that's pretty average for people. So being able to lift a 20-pound dumbbell. At 4, you could curl a sports car. At 7, they don't have a scale for it right here, but 6 is a fighter jet.
Yeah.
So maybe like a small asteroid.
I think, yeah, or like a medium-sized asteroid at that point,
tank,
right? Like
a tank, like
yeah, you work out by lifting tanks.
Yes.
Right? Like this is.
I think you should have like 2 tanks with the nozzles put together with like a rod in them, and you like
just use that as your bar. That's your bench press. The 2 gun turrets.
Yes, absolutely. Yes,
welded together.
So
yes.
So this type of crunch is. We're gonna go through it. It's been a few months since I've ran Scion, so I'm gonna be a little rusty, and I'm gonna try to make this as easy on you, because one of the other things that happens is as we're going into combat, the point of combat in storypath systems, as far as I've ever been able to see, is not dealing damage. It is about accomplishing goals.
Yes.
So there, for example, if I'm running tomorrow night, I'm running Werewolf of the Forsaken on twitch.tv/dorktales. When the werewolves go and try to fight the creature that they're fighting that night, they're going to try to deal as many points of damage as possible to kill it. In Storypath, your damage is usually capped. You can do a number of points of damage per turn maximum, even after you get through all armor and defenses. Because it's not about squishing the guy, it's about having an interesting fight, where if you get more successes than, say, you can deal damage with, you pass them on to the next person. So, for example, Christy could, or Molson Muscle could punch, Doc Apocalypse in the face so hard that it smashes his helmet and throws him backwards, which gives Ignition the perfect chance to light him on fire, and then like it turns into a teamwork exercise. It's weird. It's weird to change, especially if you play a lot of games like Dungeons and Dragons.
I'm really excited about the initiative system.
The initiative system is weird.
Yeah.
Especially because a lot of you have super speed, which Robin, you're gonna make my life complicated. Cool. You and Bryn are gonna make my life complicated.
Yeah.
Hey.
The last couple of things I had is I have Thunderclap, which is Hulk's. Whoops! As I hit my mic.
No, it worked. It worked.
Exactly. There we go. Which is very exciting and knocks people over. Very cool. Very much like the D&D spell Thunder Wave. Dense Flesh, which just gives me extra injury boxes. Mm-hmm. And I actually delve a little bit into the environmental tag or into the power tags, which is an interesting system that took me a while to wrap my head around, but
Yeah.
I still haven't got power suites quite yet, but I understand tags.
I'm not going to explain power suites on camera, but I might do it after game. Basically, actually, I'll give you a 30-second power tag. Power suites. You have a daddy power.
Yeah.
And then you get a number of other powers at the same level that are baby powers underneath daddy power that all function underneath that daddy's income or mommy's income.
That's kind of that's kind of what I thought.
It's the sugar power basically that feeds other powers, like, you know, I have super strength, so I have super jump as well, or I have super like tough skin because my muscles are that big, right? It's hard to wrap your head around, but once you're there,
it makes sense conceptually, but the crunch of it I haven't quite gotten yet. So
yes,
yeah, I feel you.
I was helping Michael build his flame powers around that because he's got so much flame power, and I finally figured out how to kind of explain it through some stuff that, like, he was like, well, I want this, and I'm like, oh, that's perfect, because that means that if you have fire blast, you can use that to fly because you're just pointing your hands at the ground and going right.
Exactly. So I used the environmental tag to attach to my toughness, which just means that I can't be affected by things that have continuous minutes. So stuff like smoke inhalation or poison and things like that. It can be attached to any armor power. So I attached it to my toughness. So I have that. So unlike, I'm sure a lot of everybody else used a lot of different edges and things like that, I basically dumped everything into just being strong. So I'm unlike a lot of people, I'm not going to be using a ton of quantum points because the only things that my quantum points go into are my lifting and my crushing. And even that I can only use 3 around. So
not to make a joke, I'm edging hard.
Exactly. Edging and eruptions is just it's in my brain is not working well because I live in a gutter.
Me too.
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Did I put a cap on how many quantum points you could have?
Yes.
No, the book does.
No transcendence. Yeah.
And you have to buy quantum points.
Yeah.
So you'd rack up a lot of transcendence.
So
and
transcendence. So transcendence basically is like quantum is like superpower energy. If you have too much of it, you kind of it alienates you from dealing with people without quantum points. So I believe it's a scale of 2 or 3 different. Basically, it gives you penalties depending on how many more quantum points you have than a baseline, which is a human. So you just can't interact with them anymore because you're too godlike. Which is a lot about this game is a lot about, oh, I'm better than you now. What do I do? Right? And one of the things is that as you do things that push your body and mind beyond its limits, you gain points of this stuff called transcendence, or flux, which becomes your transcendent score, which is you becoming kind of a mutant, where you start changing permanently. Like, for example, you'll find Bryn's character has wings, and I believe
I ended up with some too.
I have to eat a lot.
Yeah, you have a hyper fast metabolism, and you will literally die if you don't eat something like, what is it, 30, 50,000 calories a day or something?
Yeah, it's something insane. I have to eat so many hamburgers, guys.
Gotta go fast.
Jughead over here.
Gotta go fast. Gotta eat fast.
Just chili dogs. So what is you eventually pick up transformations from these, like permanent things, which could be like, you know, you talk with Spawn's voice. Everything that comes out of your mouth echoes. It just vibrates as you speak, right? Type of thing, right? Or it could be like when you are permanently like Rob Liefeld comic swole, where your chest is out to here and you've got veins everywhere and no feet to speak of, you know. But Krista, what's yours? What's
mine is very minor, but my eyes are blacked out.
Okay. I
just got excited because I have those contacts.
I was about to say, do you have scleras?
I do.
Oh, so good.
That's gonna be so good.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to talk about, Catherine Christie, the Molson muscle?
No, I'm excited about being kind of exasperated.
Good. That is the point of this game.
It'll be good. I my specialties and skill tricks is I have especially in enigmas of mathematics with the instant solution skill trick. I have especially in medicine and biochemistry with the medical advantage.
And that's where you can target weak spots and things, right?
Yes,
Where
yes,
you're like,
which
oh,
I'm
the
excited
Adam's
about.
apple.
Yeah, because being able to
Nature's
roll
punching
my
bag.
attacks, being medicine with my Megamite
Oh no.
should be interesting.
Oh god.
Yeah, should be good. And then I have a specialty in science in astrophysics with the scientific method, which helps you figure stuff out faster. And then I have a skill trick in close combat with deadly strike. So
that's super good.
I'm excited about playing a science nerd that wrecks people.
You're basically Nerd Rage.
Yeah, pretty much.
That was your
I'm very
alternate name.
excited. Oh, it was, wasn't it?
At the end of this, like if you change your name, we can have like someone scribble it out on the screen and replace it with Nerd Rage.
Nerd Rage.
It's
Okay.
just when she overpowers.
And you can do that. Like your
You
flux can
can.
drive you and I mean legally insane. Like it can drive you unstable. And because minor spoiler for this, there's another book coming out in the Trinity continuum, which is called Trinity, and it's about what happens after all of the superheroes go bad and have to be fought off into space by humanity. And it's like a cross between like Event Horizon, Alien, and StarCraft. Like it's a trippy thing. I'm not running it yet, but it's trippy.
Ooh.
All right, so let's see. Who wants to go next?
I can go next.
Do it.
Okay.
Go next. So tell me about Rush.
So yeah, I'm playing Rush, who's
Said the best name.
human, or
You're human.
alternative name is Tessa Arbor. Really fucking white as fuck. She grew up in suburbia. She grew up in Burnaby.
Burnaby
and
is a suburb of Vancouver.
Yes.
Oh, isn't that where Seth Rogen grew up?
Is it? I don't know.
I'm pretty sure Seth Rogen went to high school in... No, he went to high school in West Van. Never mind. But it's someone grew up in... Who the... I'm gonna look this up. Keep talking.
But yeah, she is a kind of going on the nerd path. She is actually a band geek and slash girl next door. She's really awkward as a kid. She loves sound and music, so actually her moment of kind of when her powers kind of came to fruition of her super speed was she was actually performing a solo in a concerto at SFU, because that's where she went to go get her major in music. And an earthquake struck, and she had to save everyone. So she was in the middle of her solo, and she kind of just used music and sound, and kind of suddenly found herself moving the speed of sound. So she is very speed driven, but I want to twist it into kind of music, because I am also personally, I'm a band geek. I love music, so I'm kind of playing with like the speed of sound idea. So like a couple of the things I have for her is like rapid strike sonic is one of the mega edges I took, as
It's
well
like
as
super punching?
mega hearing. Yeah, super punching. As well as mega hearing and multitasking, which is another kind of fast edge that you get to add a ton of stuff. I have to go read back the rules of what I took, but basically I am super duper fast, and I can do a lot of things in a turn. And also I'm taking specialties in like close combat stuff, so she's kind of paunchy. She's fast and paunchy. Punchy. I know, but I want to.
If you want to be paunchy too, that's fine. Real quick, just to point this out. So celebrities from Burnaby, Michael J. Fox. We can stop there because he's
Nice.
the best.
Yep.
Carrie Ann Moss, who is also the best, and Michael Bublé.
Oh dang!
Yeah.
the
So this
boobs.
is you. Mike, you might have gone to the same high school as Michael Bublé, actually.
Interesting. Cool.
He emerges from his cave when the season dictates.
When 'tis the season, yes, they thaw him out, and he sings his Christmas. Exactly.
bidding, my master? Yeah. Okay. So, anything else you want to talk about, Rush?
Yeah, so I took a lot of points in close combat and athletics, as well as culture, because I kind of figured the band nerd kind of route she's, as well as I put a lot of points into dexterity and mega dexterity, because again, fast, gotta go fast. She doesn't have blue hair, so she's not soft.
Oh, she doesn't? Okay. Oh,
No,
that's right.
I have curly blonde hair.
That's true.
But yes, gotta go fast. That's basically the concept I put put on her, as well as I didn't take points in fame. I actually took alternate identity. So
Oh, that's right.
as you can see, the photo, she has the glasses, so it's gonna be very much like a Clark Kent Superman thing where she takes off the glasses, and that's Rush. She puts on the glasses, she's Tessa. So that's where I took my point, was not fame, because she's a nerd. So
did you get a mask? Are you gonna wear a masking character?
I've been debating.
Or do you just
I'm whipping off the
vibrate yourself?
glasses.
Do you just vibrate yourself so they can't see you like the Flash?
Maybe.
Good
That,
thing you're not
that
called
works too.
Vibe.
Oh no.
Oh no.
So yeah, for human edges, I took artistic talent, small unit tactics from the Utopia North stuff, so she's good at that. Adrenaline rush, big hearted because she's a softie. Alternate identity, and then the EU or U fiber, whatever.
It's EU fiber is how I've always pronounced
fiber,
it.
yeah.
You can't call it EU fiber since the EU is a thing now. And it's just like oh, welcome to the European Union
Welcome
fiber.
to the EU. So yeah, I took points in that, and then for like mega edges, it's like mega speed, obviously multitasking, mega hearing, the rapid strike sonic, and regeneration. And then for quantum powers, I took quantum field, which is
Which one's that?
it's a defense one. So it's basically I create an aura that kind of protects me because I'm moving so fast. Basically,
Oh, okay.
that's how I'm flavoring it, is that she's moving so fast that she basically creates this like sound barrier almost.
Okay.
She's kind of
Nice.
I'm gonna flavor it with like moving at like Mach speeds where she kind of has this thing. So I really want to lean into the music kind of side and like speed of sound.
If we
Back to
slow
this
down the
rush.
camera, is it like bullet time?
Exactly.
That was like that was my favorite part of the Justice League movie, by the way, is when the Flash is going at Clark, and you just see like Clark look out of the corner of his eye, and Barry's like, "Oh shit!" That's the only reaction the movie got in the theater when I watched it. The entire time, everybody was like,
It's very, very good.
It was a very good moment. I'm glad that
Yeah.
it wasn't Joss Whedon's moment.
Yeah.
God, so much of that movie. So anything else about Rush? So Band Geek, super fast. And her transcendence manifests as her metabolism, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I took the one where like feeding, where she like you need to consume an insane amount of calories a day, because I figured it makes sense for someone that moves super fast. Like you would be burning a ton of calories moving at that speed. So yeah, she's skinny. She's a skinny girl, but damn, she goes to like McDonald's and's like, I'll take one of everything, please. Like
Okay.
that's her. Like she will basically like anytime there's a food place in front of her, she will go and order like a shit ton of food. Like,
So
oh yeah,
good.
we're stopped. Oh, I see like a Timmy's. Okay, all right. Let me just get like a 56 pack of
that's
Timbits.
Tim Hortons.
boy.
It's kind of like this Canadian Dunkin' Donuts cult up here. It's a thing.
Yeah,
It's just
She'll go get a
Dunkin'
pack
now.
of Tim's.
Oh yeah, it's
They
just
dropped the
Dunkin'.
donut.
Yeah.
Will someone pick it up and dust it off? Jeez. I have so many bad
Bad.
jokes. I can't say any of them because I'm on
Bad.
someone else's channel.
Wonderful.
So yeah, she inhales food like a vacuum. Yeah, she keeps her like.
You're the
small,
worst
nerdy
first
figure.
date ever.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's
Order
terrible.
whatever you want.
Gets
Was that
the bill.
Fart Lobsters?
No,
Oh,
Yeah,
fries.
sorry,
absolutely.
I need to
Buffet's
eat like
nightmare.
50,000 calories a day so I don't die. It's fine.
All of the Canadian food chains are all gonna have you as like
Oh yeah.
like, oh, it
That-
fills me up.
That's her payment. That's her payment, is that she's ordered, like, she's basically has a deal to go into like certain stores and she can just order whatever she wants off the menu. That's her payment, is her food consumption, because
So
that's what
good.
I imagine Utopia North offered her when they heard about that. They're
Basically
like,
a
okay.
stipend, right? Because like,
Yeah.
well, I mean, let's do the calculations right now. If it's like say it's $400 to eat comfortably for a month, right?
Yeah.
At a 2,000 calorie a day, like given like prices in Vancouver and stuff like
What
that.
was her calories?
So
Like
let's
50,000.
50,000. So that is.
That's a lot.
So let's just do the math. So that's $400 a month for basic groceries. It's like some oat milk, like some higher end stuff in there, and some fresh produce. Okay. So a normal person eats 2,000, and that is so that's going to be multiplied by 25.
Yeah.
So that's $10,000 a month in groceries.
I mean, I feel like
Worst
she probably goes to
roommate
Costco
ever.
a lot. Like, she just goes to Costco, and that's just like a meal.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
I remember-
Costco knows her.
I put some
by
chips over
sight.
there. Where'd
She
my
just
chips
eats
go?
So I just like
She
to
just
say
eats all the time. It's just like every time she's not moving, she's basically like shoving food in her face.
50,000 calories is 62 and a half double Big Macs.
That's it?
That's not that many.
That's not many Big Macs.
So back when I was
like
doing...
to order 30 Big Macs, please. That's half
Oh,
my food
man.
content for the day.
I remember back when I was working hospitality, I had to do a write-up about some solar panels that the hotel I was working for got installed. And I wrote like a little article about it, and I converted the energy that we were saving into how many Big Macs that it would equal in kilojoules. My boss was not impressed, but it was like 23 Big Macs. It was actually a lot of Big Macs a
Yeah.
year. It just didn't sound
So-
like much.
So if Krista is sponsored by Molson, can Rush be sponsored by McDonald's?
Well, what is there a more Canadian thing than McDonald's besides Tim Hortons?
A&W?
You'd be A&W. You'd be A&W.
Oh, yeah.
A&W. Yeah. Okay.
Which-
A&W.
which
Isn't
A&W
A&W American?
A&W is two separate corporations, one of which is owned by A&W America, all American food, and then there is A&W Canada, which is its own thing that is
Okay.
Okay.
kind of like the Canadian McDonald's, although McDonald's is equally large.
We're
over
West Coast. She's sponsored by White Spot.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, actually, yeah,
yeah.
just kidding. Yeah, I am sponsored by White Spot. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
During the
I'm
Olympics,
sponsored
Michael
by White
Phelps ate
Spot.
12,000 calories per day.
Insane.
Oh, that's so much. Yeah, I am a buffet's worst nightmare. Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
true.
That send you down
But
to
yeah,
wings.
she eat fat. She eat lots.
She eat lots. That's
Just
that's
surrounded
great.
by pirate packs.
Oh, God. Pirate packs
The
are
BC
all right,
Ferry.
look it
She's
up.
the spokesperson for BC Ferries too.
God.
So, I
What,
need
you can
pirate-
literally
along
run
next to
across
it?
the water too. It doesn't make any sense. I think you might be able to.
I have to look.
We gotta look that up. We gotta do the math on that.
But yeah, I would love to run across water, please.
I mean, if you pushed your powers by overclocking them and gaining some more transcendence and flux, you could temporarily.
You'll be
At
real
least island
hungry
time.
when you get to Vancouver or onto the Vancouver Island.
Island, yeah.
Yep.
Just goes to the nearest white spot. Excuse me. I would like 20.
I would like a gallon of triple O sauce right now.
glug glug glug.
Doing like
run
cream
on,
shots.
to run on water, you would need
Ew.
to run 3 times as fast as Usain Bolt.
That's
or
it?
about 30
That's it?
meters per second.
Oh,
I'm
I
sure
think
can
she can do
650
that.
miles per hour.
Oh, okay. We'll look
Oh,
that
wait.
up real quick.
Oh no, wait, 70 miles per hour.
So,
This is according to Reddit. I'll post the thread.
I think 70 miles per hour seems a little because my car can go 70 miles an hour.
You can drive a car across water. Have you never seen that?
Not for long.
I guess if you
No,
hit it right.
You
Yeah.
need Top Gear did it. You need like flaps on your tires so that it grips the water. But like most
So you have
cars,
to keep the
if you go
surface
fast
tension.
enough.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
but
good.
most cars go. You can do with snowmobiles really easily. I mean, sort of easily. A lot of people think they're snowmobiles because they let off the
Okay, well,
throttle.
hold on,
So
let's-
I
it's
save
terrifying.
Not
I've
the
saved
throttle.
so much money because I don't have to take BC ferries.
Yeah, and
Oh,
Nacro,
boy.
you can you can
Okay, hold on.
do it with a motorcycle.
Yeah.
People have
Yeah,
done it,
I've seen the motorcycle. Yeah.
So hold on, I'm checking the speed scale real quick because this matters to me more than it should.
This is an
This matters
important
to me
question.
too. I need to know if I can run on water.
Okay,
Can
hold
you just
on.
run across English Bay?
Yes.
Yes.
I think it'd be really funny, but you wouldn't be able to jump from the water because you wouldn't have enough traction. So, like,
No.
if there's no ramp to get out, you just run into a wall.
Yeah.
Just like run and like kind of grab onto.
Right? You need to run onto a beach so
Yeah.
you can get up.
Yeah.
Oh, and the rules do kind of imply as well that, for example, if you can lift something, it will not crush you in the lifting. Just in
Yes.
case anybody's like, well,
Right.
by
Humans
science.
are squishy. Yes.
Humans are squishy. Yeah, and we're also like this is a superhero game. We're gonna have fun with this doing superhero stuff. So
Only so much science you can throw in.
right, well, because everybody like you always see the arguments. It's like, well, Clark Kent couldn't actually like Superman couldn't actually lift an aircraft carrier because the surface tension or the physics on the lever point would rip the whole thing. Yeah, like come on,
Yes,
I want to,
Exactly.
but big monster.
Move on.
True about airplanes, too, to be honest. You need to, like, grab them by the wings.
Yeah, whereas he
'Cause,
stops
like,
them by
airplanes
touching
aren't
the nose,
designed to be lifted from, like, a single point, like 2 hands in the middle, you know? That's
which
not how airplanes work.
Yeah. So
But yeah.
I mean,
But yeah, like the kid on Incredibles, he runs across the water
Yeah,
and then he
dash.
stops and then just goes.
okay, I've almost found it. Hold on.
Yeah, Man, I'm
Go.
gonna save so much money now. I can take the ferry
Okay,
from Vancouver
so-
Island to Vancouver, man. That's gonna
What
be my
is-
food budget.
Okay, hold on. I got this. Hold on. Sonic.
It's like
Okay, what is us?
$250 when I took the ferry last.
Yeah, I
Round
know.
trip.
This is
You
why
wonder what
I'm
the speed
making
of
the
sound is?
joke. 'cause,
Okay,
yeah,
the speed of sound is 342 meters per second, or 768 miles per hour. What's your super speed at, Robin?
The super speed is .1 for edges.
Yeah, but it's based on your mega dex.
What's
Oh,
your
is it?
Megadex?
Oh, my mega dex is 3.
Okay, so that means that without stressing your powers, you can run as fast as a race car.
Okay.
Okay.
And at least, I'll have to double check super speed, but if you had one more point of it, you could run just below sonic speed. And at
Mm.
level 6, you can break the sound barrier. At level 7, you
Ooh.
could run so fast that if the earth was flat, you could run off it.
Huh.
And if you run, actually, at escape velocity, if you ran counter to the Earth's gravitational pull and rotation, you might be able to run off the side. If you hit it just right. If there was a ramp,
Mm.
you could just keep running.
If you ran up Everest,
Yeah.
Yeah, just don't stop at the top. Just
exactly.
Yeah, just keep going.
Also,
What
thank
you
you,
could do
Strange
with
Brood, for
water-
that math.
What you could do with water, you could do with air.
Oh, it's plus 1, Kelly. So if your mega
insane.
dex 3, then your speed scale 4.
yeah, that was
Yes.
calculating at 4.
Okay.
So,
Okay. So I can
Does
run
your
the fastest
edge
race
incre-
car.
Does your edge super speed increase that by?
Well, I was wondering because I have
spending?
mega edge for mega speed.
Yeah,
Okay.
if it's anything like mega crushing, you can spend a quantum to increase your thing up to your max quantum. So you should be able to get up. What's your quantum rating?
3.
Yeah, so you would be able to get up to 7
Mega speed.
by spending quantum.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Is that
Mega
what it
speed
is?
Says it's just based on mega dex.
Oh, okay,
Right.
maybe it's not because
Okay.
mega lifting is you can spend
Mega
points
crush
of
or mega
quantum.
lift? Oh
both.
yeah, mega crush is different. You can add
Oh, okay.
quantum to it.
so this might
Then
be,
yeah, sorry,
is Mega Crush that allows you to spend the extra points?
and lifting.
And mega lift. They're both
Okay.
like that, but mega speed.
What
Is
what
it?
edges did you take, Robin? Just checking real quick.
So for edges, I took mega speed, multitasking.
Okay, so it might be under the Mega.
let me find mega speed. Let me see.
So that increases, yeah, so at scale 5, you can run as fast as an airplane flies. Okay.
It is in fact a little brain breaking, but once you get it, once it clicks, you're
And
like,
you say
oh,
the
well,
word
that's what
mega
it
and
does.
quantum a little too much. I will
Yes.
say that I wish I wish a couple I wish there had been a little more thesaurus, but once we wrap our heads around it and come up with some shorthands, it'll be a little easier.
Yeah, it's a good naming convention. It all makes sense. It's just when you start saying it over and over again, you're like, wait, hang on, what did I just say? I said mega something.
Well, because
said
there's
mega something.
quantum dots and quantum points are two different things. Quantum
Yes.
dots are permanent changes to your character sheet and to your character. Quantum points are fuel.
Yes.
So it's a good system. It just, the entry curve is a bit much.
Especially
times.
when like if I had played this coming out of another system like Scion or even more like World of Darkness stuff, but I've played nothing but D&D 5e for the past couple
Same.
years, and even when I go back to looking at rules of 3.5 from years ago, I'm like, wait, how did I understand this before? Because 5e is so simple. Coming off of anything that has any kind of crunch, I'm like, I love this, but I must think.
I must use the brain.
I must use the
So
brain.
yeah, mega just gives me like a level above. So I have the speed scale is I have mega dex of 3, so it means I have the speed of 4.
Yeah, that's still
the
not
mega speed.
bad.
Yeah.
Actually, that brings you to scale 5 because you start at scale 1 and then your megas bring you up and then you get 1 extra, so you
Okay.
should be at 5.
Okay.
Oh yeah, so
what's
you
5?
can run as fast as an airplane then
Sweet. Okay, so I can definitely run
So,
across water.
at
This is-
subsonic
this
speeds,
is-
and I would allow you to overclock that by taking flux, right? So if you wanted
Yeah.
to, if you wanted to take a shit ton of flux, to put it bluntly, you could run at speed 9, which is the speed of light, or speed 10, which at speed 10, or pardon me,
Can I make time? Can I make the world spin backwards at speed 10? Like do the
n-
like
at-
flash like
Well, no, but at strength 10 or at might 10, you can move time itself. So I'm pretty sure you can run faster than time.
Sweet.
I'll give you a head start. We'll fastball special, and I'll skip you at the water, and then you can just get running.
So, just to give you an example, on the leadership one is one of my favorite ones, where it's like, your scale for like trying to coerce someone to do something. At scale 10 for that, you can convince God to change the rules of the game. I'm pretty sure. Like you can have an argument with a literal god and win it. You're like, well, but have you considered not? Oh, I actually hadn't. You're right. Maybe 6 fingers is better than 5.
You're right. Gravity is a joke.
Yeah, gravity's nah.
And here's the punchline. After you fail the roll.
Yes.
Okay, so we dipped into the mechanics there real quick. Just there's a lot of stuff going on here. So you found a link to Phelps's daily menu.
What?
Yeah, that was everywhere.
Also, Hot Dog Wizard is right, Krista. That was a great description of the entry level explanation of this. It's once you get it, you get it. It's a good game.
Yeah.
Which, if you ever hear us complaining about it, it's because we've said the word mega and quantum so much that it's starting to like hurt this part of our brain. And we're like, oh god, so much mega quantum. It makes sense, but it's
quantum points, quantum powers. What is the difference?
Yeah, I was sitting there like this at my computer for a while, just like staring and reading and going, what? And then one thing clicked, and I was like, oh, well, that makes perfect sense.
And then you feel like you just wasted a bunch of time, like,
exactly.
Right? So you're like, oh, I'm so, I can't.
How did I not understand that?
And anyway, it's a good game. Y'all should play it. By the way,
excited.
the Kickstarter is there. You can still buy like backup copies. We don't get any money for this, so go order the game so that you can play alongside us. Okay, who else wants to talk about their character? I pick Mike because he's looking around like. All right. So Mike, we just finished your character today because you had that problem with your house exploding.
Power suites.
So we did power suites. However, I broke it down for you like super basic on your stuff. I want to hear about your character, and I'll explain your powers if you don't feel like it.
Okay, well, I'm definitely playing a character that was inspired by kind of like a real life kind of character. Actually helped me get into becoming a graphic designer. About 12 years ago, there was a YouTube stream called You Suck at Photoshop. So I'm basically playing that failed Photoshop artist who basically turned into a superhero and continues to fail at everything in his life. Other than the fact of being a superhero.
Fails upwards. So this is Donnie, right?
Yeah, my name's Donnie and you suck at Photoshop.
So looking at this, Donnie's whole thing is that he's super resilient. He can take a hit. He's got quantum out the yin-yang. Wazoo, whatever. I ended up, when I was helping you build, I gave you a point of transcendence just to afford one of your powers.
That's fine.
But it doesn't...
I figured like the room just constantly warms up wherever he's standing in it.
Not that much like, yet, though.
No, but
it'll get there.
Like, it's getting warm in here.
If you want more experience points and to buy more powers, like I would consider maybe going in and buying some like some mega edges for your like your mega dex or mega stamina, and you can use some of your take some more points of transcendence to do that. So his whole thing is he's firepower, right? Like literally.
Yeah. Yeah.
So his powers are he can throw fire with a quantum blast. Okay. And they're basically all of his powers are based around the fire blast. Like it's like Iron Man when he like throws his little concussion bolts. Yeah, like his repulsor blast, right? Like from the palm. Is that where he throws his fire from?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. So with that, that power allows you to so you can shoot up to medium range. Medium range is a football stadium. So basically like line of sight for a gun is the same as your fire blasts. You have the option to do non-lethal damage if you choose, in which case it's more of a concussion blast. You decide when you do it before it hits. You have the beam ability, the beam tag, which allows you to kind of just go and strafe with it.
So it's a flamethrower.
It can be if you want it to be, right? And then you also have 3 other powers that are attached. Now, this is what power suites are. So Mike has quantum attack as Ignition's primary. So that's his, we'll call it fire blast, just so that we don't have to say quantum that many times. Okay. With his fire blast, he also has access to, which he has at level 3, Because he has that, he can use it as the parent power for up to 3 other level 3 powers, which are all bought at a discount. So he uses it to fly. He just points his hands at the ground and goes, and he can fly it at scale 3. So he's going at speed, either speed 3 or speed 4. I'll have to double check that. So he can fly using basically like boosters in his hands. He has quantum field, so if someone tries to like shoot him with a sniper round, he can reflexively like go and cover himself with a fire barrier.
Strange Brood's leaving.
Oh, goodbye, Stu. Good to see you, buddy. And then also he has elemental anima, which is the ability, it's fire control. So if there's fire in an area, or if there is no fire in an area, actually, basically he has the ability to do like ambient area control up to medium-sized range, where he can make it more difficult to cross through it. He can create complications based on his firepower or the ability to like. So with this one, actually, you can use fire, or if you want to and want to push your powers, you could suck heat out of it and make it cold.
That's cool.
Or you can deal damage to an area on the rate that it does. Like, I think the basic is it does 3 points of lethal damage every hour that someone is exposed to it. So it's not like super hot. But if you wanted to spend some XP to upgrade that, you could make it so that every round you take 3 points of fire damage, which is shitty, but it works. Well, I mean, shitty to be in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also get like one other ability that I can't remember off the top of my head. That's like, I think it allows you just to control ambient like fire and like make it like go out and stuff. So that's pretty much what he can do, which is some pretty cool stuff. You might want to spend a few points to upgrade your just some mega edges, just to give yourself some cool additional like survival powers. Yeah. We're also going to be dealing with the difference between hard and soft armor that's going to be in there. So in this system, there are 2 types of armor, hard and soft. Soft armor is it is hard to damage you because your armor absorbs the impact. Hard armor is you have extra health boxes when the hit actually does connect with you through your armor. You have extra health boxes. However, I was looking at the engine when I was helping Mike build, and so for your armor, Mike, the fire armor, you can have either soft or hard armor. We went with soft because that means it's just harder to hurt you. Like the hit lands less frequently, or it's more expensive for the hit to land. However, the hard armor means that you'd have a health level on the inside. If it did go through, it would go to the armor instead of you. But it's a reflexive ability that costs a quantum point to activate this power. And once a health box is filled, it's filled until you heal. Except this is a power that you turn on reflexively. So if I'm not mistaken, if you wanted to spend some more points and purchase the hard armor as well, every time you have an incoming point of damage, you can flare the armor, take the damage, turn off the power, that health box vanishes and so does the damage, and then you reactivate it next round, so you have an infinite +1 health box. I think that's the way the system works.
That seems pretty legitimate.
Yeah, it's why it's expensive to do, but it's like your fire absorbs it, then you drop the fire, then you pull it back in, and so long as you have a lot of quantum points, which you do, everything you do costs quantum. I don't know. It could be something. Think about it.
Yeah, I'll look into it.
All right. Is there anything else you want to talk about Ignition?
Not really. Like, okay. Just because real life, I haven't had a huge amount of time to look at the mechanics.
Because your house exploded.
Yeah, house exploded.
I mean, that's sensible. I'm sorry your house exploded.
Yeah, well.
Too bad you didn't have your fire powers to,
It's really true. You wouldn't need a hot water heater. All right. So let's go and finish up with Bryn. Snow Angel. Tell me about Snow Angel.
Yeah, her real name is Piper Davis, which I think we decided was like the most Canadian name.
Most Canadian name.
Her background, or like her origin path, is like a military brat. She grew up in Comox, which for people who don't know is it's kind of in the middle of the island that's near Vancouver.
Vancouver Island?
yeah, that island next to
There
There
Vancouver.
are many islands
It's called
near
Vancouver Island.
There
When you
are
say
quite-
Vancouver
The big one.
Island,
The
you
big
say
one.
Vancouver Island, then people are going to be like, "Oh, the island that Vancouver's on." It's like, well, no.
No, not so
No.
much.
Like I said, I used to
No.
work hospitality on Vancouver Island, and I'd constantly have to deal with people who go like, "Oh yeah, I'm taking the bridge over right now," and I'm like, "Oh, no, you're not.
No, you're
we
not.
don't have one."
No, we don't know. We wish. The 70s they proposed a bridge, and then they
That would have been
said
great. Well,
no.
then I love the people who are like, "Well, I booked my ticket to Victoria Island," and I'm like, "Victoria Island is in the Arctic Circle. I don't think you should go there."
I mean, you do you, but
you do you.
But I don't think that's the Victoria Island you think you're thinking of booking.
It's like one time when I grew up in the Midwest. I had my college girlfriend come to visit when I was home for the summer, and I lived near Springfield, Missouri, and I accidentally sent her to Springfield, Illinois. we fixed it before she got in, but this was before we had I didn't have a smartphone at that point, right? So it was a lot of phone calls and panicking from payphones. Payphones,
Whoopsie.
kids' payphones were a thing where there was a phone and you could pay to stick a phone with gum on the tip of it
Yes.
against your ear,
Weird.
and
Something
occasionally,
everyone
Tell me about
sneezed on.
this payphone.
yeah. All right, sorry, Bryn. Tell me about Snow Angel, because Canada has a military, and she was raised by a military person.
Yeah, like her parents were in the military. There's a air base in Comox for the, huge Canadian Air Force and their 12 planes. Not really, but there's a couple of helicopters there, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so she grew up kind of in the military, and I think like when her powers started to emerge, she has like big white like angel wings. Her parents kind of like got her involved with the military, and then eventually it kind of like built up, so she's like kind of I don't know, like a face for the snowbirds, which is like Canada's how do you describe? They're like the Blue Angels, but Canadian.
yeah,
They're
they're
like-
trick flyers.
Trick flyers. They're like the Harlem Globetrotters in planes.
Yeah, which is like what the Blue Angels are.
Literally, yeah.
They're like test pilots and stuff. So she like flies with them and does like promo stuff. She's also I took 2 dots of fame, and she's pretty like big on Instagram. She was kind of the right age when that was like a good place to be, and like probably like, so fame too is supposed to mean you're well known within like say North America within a subculture, so like maybe like people who are into like hip-hop music or something. But I would say in this case she's like well known with people who are into novas, right? Like who kind of like follow the superhero scene.
Super fans.
Yeah, right. And she would have her like, she has her own following, like she has maybe, I don't know, 50,000 followers on Instagram, something like that.
Probably
Well,
100.
she has more. Probably 100,000.
Probably 100,000. They're 99.98, and you're just like,
It's like, oh my god, guys, come on, let's get to 100. We can do this.
well, you need, and then like the government's like, look, we don't want to. This is the type of game that we're going to be running. Is like, we're not telling you should release a sex tape, but if you did, like, but if you did,
You
It's
and
like, dude,
Justin
I'm 18,
Trudeau,
what the fuck?
come on, let's go.
how
Oh
old?
my god.
You see like cash register signs. Oh, government exploitation. Oh, it's a joke. It's not a joke. Oh, that's really topical right now. If we weren't in Canada,
Yeah.
What?
check
I
the
miss- I've
check
missed
check the
something.
U.S. news. That's my
Okay.
comment. All right, keep going. Okay, so what's her deal? So she's like an influencer with wings. And can you put your wings away? Did you decide if you?
No,
Are
they're
they-
like kind of always around, but she can like bring them in so she can fit through doorways and stuff.
Oh, that's good. So she can sit down in chairs and stuff.
Yeah, like other convenient things.
Okay.
She has 2 points in striking, which I mean probably because she has giant wings.
Also, she's super attractive, right? Like striking.
Yeah. Yes, there's a specialty that comes with it. It's got a different name in the book. I know it does, but I wrote pretty privilege on my sheet, and now I can't remember what the actual specialty is called.
It's called pretty privilege. That's all that matters.
Right? When she like walks into a store and like if they don't know who she is, she's like, "Do you know who I am?" and they're like, I don't know, you look ridiculous, like you look like a literal angel walked through the door, but like in like almost like an exaggerated way where it's like your face is too perfect and you have huge white wings and you're knocking shit off the shelves, please stop.
Well, just take what you want, take what you want and leave.
Yeah, right. Yes, so yeah, she's pretty. In terms of her actual like superpowers, basically she can fly like really fast. I'm thinking that probably like, I mean, it depends where we're gonna meet, but I have a feeling her and Tessa are gonna like have a probably ongoing speed competition because I think we have exactly the same speed.
Yeah.
But you're flying and I'm just running.
I know,
I'm gonna
right?
be left behind constantly.
Like Kirk Cameron.
I'm just gonna be like, okay, I'll meet you guys there.
Okay.
I feel like she like try and carry you or something. I don't know.
I'll meet you. I'll meet you at the McDonald's across the White Spot. Right, I'm sponsored by White Spot. I need to remember this. I'll meet you at the White Spot around the corner.
That was almost your superhero name.
White Spot.
White Spot.
And she's like, no, Rush. I
Oh.
want to be Rush.
By the way, I am confirming that in Ontario, or not, pardon me, not Ontario. Yeah, in Ontario. In Toronto, there is a superhero whose ability is self-cloning called Double Double.
Amazing.
This does exist in this world. They are called Double Double. Double Double is the way the Canadians order 2 cream, 2 sugar. It's just
Does
like
he have a sidekick named Bit?
To be fair, like
Yeah,
No,
please, can you be
it's
Tim?
Tim Bits.
Tim
Yeah.
Bits?
Timothy Bits.
Yeah. Timothy
It's
Bits.
like
I think it's
Bucky.
a better name than like duplicate.
It's Cap. It's Double Double and Tim Bit. There
Captain
we go.
Canuck.
Captain
That exists.
Knucklehead. Yeah.
So, all right.
Cappuccino?
So, Cappuccino.
Ice
No,
Cap.
That's
Cap-
Ice Cap.
Chino.
Ice Cap. It's Ice
Ice
Cap.
Cap.
Ice Cap.
It is Ice Cap.
Ice Cap. I'm writing this
Ice
down.
Cap.
Ice
Their
Cap.
whole team has
Ice
to just
Cap
be
is
sponsored by
he's
Tim
such
Hortons.
an asshole though. Like,
Which is
he's
owned by
so
Wendy's
full of
now.
himself.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I hate that. Like, if we're talking real quick about Winter Soldier, I really hate Winter Soldier and Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I really hate that the guy that's playing the new Cap is getting death threats.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, people don't like. They're like, he can't be Captain America. He's not good enough. Yeah, that's kind of the point, guys.
That's the point of the show, guys. Come on.
Have you ever heard a story before?
And he's so good.
He's so
Kurt
good.
Russell's son is so good.
And yeah, he looks a little dorky in the helmet. I mean, Chris
that
did
helmet's
too.
just dorky.
It,
Yeah.
it pushes your
that
ears
helmet,
out.
Yeah, it just makes you look like a little
And,
bit
like,
of like a goblin elf.
I see.
thing,
I don't know
yeah.
what's happened. I've only seen the first 2 episodes, but like, I really hope that the character sticks around because it's supposed to be the guy that becomes U.S. Agent in the comics, right?
Yeah.
I really like U.S. Agent's a cool character. He's a
Yeah.
dick, but
You
like,
need to watch because I need to discuss the things.
I need to have time.
discuss
Or
the
we have
last-
D&D tonight, so like, I'm running this and then D&D because the schedules are great. Like, it's called acting. Thank you, chat. That's exactly correct.
Exactly.
Like, people are sending him death
So-
threats because they're I don't know. It's just so like, don't send actors
Don't-
death threats if they're
Right?
like for playing a character. Come on.
Like that's the role. It's not them. Like
That's
yeah,
like sending
you
us death
Cap.
threats because you're playing someone who runs.
Well, it's like what's his name who played the annoying child king in Game of Thrones stopped
Oh,
acting.
yeah.
Like he
Yeah,
just
That's
gave up.
great.
Yeah, he was
Joffrey,
incredible.
like-
Yeah,
He's a really
and he's like
nice
the nicest
guy.
guy. Yeah. Same with what's his name who played Draco. Like these
Yep.
poor guys have
Tom
to keep
Felton,
like
yeah.
yeah.
Tom
Tom-
Felton is so great though on social media
So
lately.
nice.
Like, oh,
Also
I
is,
fucking love him.
And also like has hung out with, once again, one of our cast members repeatedly.
What?
Yeah, like honestly, if you like, Natasha's hung out with like all sorts of people.
Oh, cool.
Because Natasha has this way of like getting into after parties at conventions that she's not invited to.
Huh.
And then getting like celebrity phone numbers and hanging out and like going off and like, oh yeah, seriously. I'll tell you a story off camera that is not mine to tell on camera. But she's fine with me saying off camera.
Fabulous.
Oh, I need to go back to Toronto apparently. And Natasha and
No,
I should have been
just
friends
make her
when I was
come
in
back
university.
here. Like nobody wants to go
yeah,
to
just
Toronto.
get to Vancouver. You're
Like
good.
Toronto's locked down right now. It's rough. Anyway. Oh,
Yeah.
also,
Anyway,
Toronto.
if
It's
you
the Toronto.
if you have watched any of our games on Dork Tales, real quick, I just want to say we tried to use a lot of real world things, and we have fairly, I mean, not politicized, but just kind of like current event stuff in our stories. We're not going to do that for this so much. Like the whole pandemic thing is not going to be part of this. I'm going to assume that the super scientists probably thought their way around. Also, we're 10 years in the future in the game.
Yeah.
So, but for example, in our Werewolf the Forsaken game, we're in the middle of COVID in that, and they're literally like fighting disease spirits at times. It's very, very hot button. So you don't have to worry about that with this game, because if I release a plague, it's going to be caused by a guy named like, you know, Darth Plagueis or something. I don't know. Have you heard?
Have you heard the tale of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
That's a real character.
I know.
Sorry, Doc Plagueis. Doc Plagueis with a C.
There you go.
So I want to ask you all, do you want to have any existing connections? Because the way that we built the characters was you all have been handpicked by Project Utopia, and your first time really meeting as a team is backstage at Utopia Con, where it's like, hey, here's your team, you're on stage in 5. That is where we're starting the game, is you backstage at basically Comic-Con, about to be unveiled along with all of the better teams.
Well, so Fame, because I chose mine for Secret Identity. So Dash, not her. No, that was her original name. Rush.
Your original name was
Rush-
Dart.
Oh, right, it was Dart. Yeah,
I
right.
really
It was
wanted
Dart.
it too.
We went with Rush. So I think Rush might know like someone like Snow Angel because of like Insta. I would say connections. Like who else is like pretty and Molson like probably. And
I've got Fame too.
Yeah, so anyone that's Fame too. My character probably knows you from social media. My character probably is more quiet. I imagine.
So is this gonna feel like basically actors working together for you? Like, is that kind of like, hey, you're on set, like these are your new teammates? Except
yeah, I think that's Tessa's like basically kind of like how I was introduced to Dork Tales, where I was like, hey, these are people suddenly you're acting with. I think that's very much how my character is gonna see it, where it's like girl next door suddenly got a part in a big play kind of thing. Where something's like, oh, I know you from Instagram and like TikTok and all the social medias. Like, I know you. I maybe am not worthy, or something like that. Like, she thinks she's probably like more nerdy and lesser, so she probably is like, oh my god, kind of fangirling herself.
Yeah.
Over the three of you, if you're more present on social media.
So, do you want to have an existing relationship, or you want to go cold in and then just have to figure it out then?
I'm happy to have relationships with whoever.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Ignition and Snow Angel, how long have you guys had your powers?
8 years?
8?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
You've had
thinking
your-
probably at least half that.
Okay. Just because since
So
because Catherine did all of her PhDs on Novas.
Yeah,
she
at
may-
UBC too. She totally
Yeah.
might have like I can totally imagine Catherine like measuring Snow Angel's wings as she was like growing up. Being like,
Yeah.
"Oh, interesting.
so
Yeah,
how,
doing
how,
like over a couple years. Yeah.
how old is Snow Angel?
I said 18, but I don't know, like 21, 18?
20, 18, 21. Let's
Drinking age, depending on where she is, maybe.
what? So you're 19 at least. Okay,
Sure.
because it's 19 in Canada.
Yeah, how about she can't drink in the US? That sounds fun.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fine.
that's funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great, because then you're down at Utopia Con in California and you can't.
I
drink.
know, right? And everyone will be like going for drinks and she'll like keep trying to order alcohol and they'll be like, can we see some ID? She'll be like, oh.
And then
I'm
and then they
Snow
pass you some
Angel.
cocaine under the table and like,
Yeah.
you don't need an ID for that.
Oh.
Okay, so right now, the earliest time, so the eruption date, initial eruption happened in 2018. It didn't really start happening regularly for a couple of years after that. So I think the earliest I'd like anybody to be erupted, let's say 6 to 7 years, if that's cool with you, Bren. Then maybe
Sure.
she was like 13, 14 when it happened.
Yeah. That seems
So
reasonable.
let's do it that way, because then it's like, oh, I'm a freshman in high school, and it's so nerve-wracking, and suddenly wings, right?
Right?
A pimple and wings.
Puberty, wings.
So and then ignition, we'll say like 3-4 years for you.
Yeah, I'm picturing him about like 39 and on the precipice of becoming 40 and realizing his life is pretty much over. It's like, I've done nothing. It's like, you're a superhero.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. No, I like the idea of what about you, Rush? How long have you had your
I imagine her only a couple years. Like, she's kind of very new to this. Like, she's a couple years into doing her BA of arts, and I think that's kind of when it triggered. So I think she's probably she's kind of fresh. So that's when she was brought into Utopia North, was this project. Oh, you're kind of young, but we heard about this. Like, you saved a bunch of orchestra bandmates, so you know, your super speed thing. So I think she's very new, which kind of is why she's keeping this like low profile identity at the start, because I think she's like kind of not knowing how to deal with being a superhero. She's kind of like, no, I'm a shy girl.
Okay.
So it's probably like a year or two that maybe she's had her powers.
Sure, that sounds good. And then Christy is probably last year or two too.
Yeah, like very, very fresh. But like, the only reason they kind of like found her is because she started doing she started a paper basically on herself, because she was like, okay, well, I guess I should
publish it. They were like, wait, are you the subject in this?
Yeah.
And she's like,
that goes against
yes.
ethics. You can't do that.
Yeah,
you need at least a co-writer on that. Like,
she starts,
door and it like shatters.
She starts tracking all of herself and then like gives it to all of her coworker, and they're like, okay, you need to I need to know what's going on. Like, you need to start doing this. She's just keeping tests on herself. Yeah.
What's your character's full name again, Krista?
Catherine Christie.
Catherine Christie, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I feel like my character is probably gonna call her like Dr. Christie or something.
Yeah, I think that's kind of cool, because if we're saying 8 years ago, how many PhDs is that back? I literally timed out like okay,
how many you could do.
Yeah, because I was like, well, I want her to be like early 30s. How many PhDs can she do in that time frame? So this actually would have made sense if when she was doing her like biomedical, she would have been like, okay, well, I'm going to start with her because a lot of them. Yeah, because you would have been particularly young for Interruption, considering most people were kind of a little bit later when it was happening. So this was, early years of it becoming more common. She's young. So we've worked together before, but like in a very professional, like, I'm new to being, you're actually going to be able to teach me more about it.
Right? Yeah.
Well,
now
that's
I
a nice
feel
twist.
like, she's going to be coming over and being like, so is this normal?
Yeah. Should I normally
I spilled coffee on my arm the other day. It didn't hurt.
Yeah.
The coffee was cold, doctor.
Exactly. Shit. Was I in there that long?
Right?
Yes.
I was staring too long at the computer trying to figure out the mathematical equation. Oh, darn.
Yeah.
No, not true. Krista has that ability that lets her instant.
Oh, true.
Sorry, I just had to be a nerd there. Okay, cool.
Nerd.
So I think that's good that you may have some basic connections with each other, but it'll be fairly fresh. This is probably your first time actually all meeting together. Will be backstage after you got limoed in.
Yeah, I'm thinking also like maybe we haven't seen each other in a while, Krista.
Yeah.
Like back when you did your study, we like saw each other a lot, and then like
because you were like 16,
our parents
17
are in
there.
touch or something. But yeah.
Yeah, one of those, like, I would probably be like following your progress and that kind of thing, and like might check in with like your doctors and stuff like that. Like, so how's this progressing? Like, I was tracking this and like purely like never really talked to you, just been like scientifically following your progress.
Backstage, you'll be like, so I hear you started taking iron supplements.
Yeah.
And she'll be like, well, can we talk about this? Not right now.
You're on it too.
Exactly. Yeah. And I feel like I would be familiar with Ignition, just again from a scientific aspect of like, she probably reads every doctor's paper on whoever investigates whoever.
I get the feeling everyone would be like, oh, you're Ignition. I've heard about you. What are you doing now? This? Like, the superhero thing.
Yeah.
Oh, how's that working out? You get any benefits out of that? What do you make a year? I don't know. I save people and things.
You make like
Absolutely.
probably 50K probably.
Yeah.
Plus,
I don't know. I got a
benefits.
place. It's okay, I guess. You want to know about me or my place? What's going on here?
Do you get dental?
No. Well, yeah, a little bit. Like basic coverage.
70% with a deductible.
Yeah.
I
This is the game we're running, everybody. I don't know why. If I would have told myself 10 years ago that I'd be running games on stream where we talked about dental deductibles as something interesting, I'd probably just like shoot myself.
I love the idea of Catherine and Dottie just like being adults in the background and just being like, okay, so I signed, did you have this in your contract? Because I don't know how I feel about this one. I kind of thought we'd be getting hired.
I don't know. I signed my contract like 4 years ago.
The
I haven't updated
superheroes.
anything.
Utopia North. They can defeat anything but the glass ceiling.
What? I lost my my sponsorship with the Hot Wings? Damn it. Well, there goes my weekend beer tab.
Yeah, exactly, right? Well, just get it
It's
through
okay, you
muscle.
can have mine. Exactly.
Oh,
Just like giving it all to you.
I have some. I don't know if I can get you my sponsorship because I pretty much use my tab 24/7. There's no wiggle room in mine.
Strangely, Snow Angel does have like an Air Canada sponsorship, so that's not useful for her at all.
I feel like she
Or
does
is it
lots of
Alaska
maybe. I'm sure,
Airlines?
like,
She's on those terrible the like safety.
oh yeah, the
videos.
safety video.
You are on the safety
Oh,
videos that I've
yeah.
had to watch. Make sure
Remember.
you take out your headphones to watch the safety video. I've seen this 20,000 times, Air Canada. Thank you.
Right.
I don't need it.
Please
Remember.
make sure you fly inside the cabin. It'll be like her flying next to a plane or whatever.
So much.
This is gonna be, and this is one of the things that I want to explore in this game is how the government and how like capitalism and commercialization would be affected by superheroes. And the answer is entirely. I think that's the best thing about the boys, the boys on Amazon Prime, like the
So
series, because the comics were. They were Garth Ennis doing Garth Ennis stuff.
They were grimdark.
They were grimdark, and they were really try hard in places, and strangely homophobic. And the series is actually really good, and they really lean into a lot of these great questions of like, are we closer to being Superman or Booster Gold? And the answer is we're way closer to Booster Gold. And
Yeah.
I want your characters to be really flawed people when we do this. Because I've got the plot outlined out and like what I sent to as like what I worked out for like where I think this is gonna go. I will say at the last, you guys are gonna have like obviously a choice of things that you do because the role playing game, it's all about choice. I have no idea which way you're gonna go. So, and I want to put this out here because I think a lot of times in role playing games, people get kind of hung up on the whole like, oh, I don't want to pick the bad choice. There's no bad choice in any of the games that we're coming up with except to not make a choice.
Mm-hmm.
So make that your primary thing. There's nothing you can do so long as you make a choice that makes something happen that is going to make the game good. And if you guys all end up as super villains at the end of this, that's just as funny. Right?
Well, and the game even like is built to be that way with momentum and that kind of thing. Like you get rewarded for your failures, which is really cool.
I love momentum as a system, and then I get threat. I think it's still called threat in this edition, which is
it's called collateral.
Oh, collateral. That's right. It was threat in Scion.
Yeah.
So I will have those put up on the screen somewhere here, and we will do that accordingly. Actually, Mike, I will talk to you about that. There's a way we can do this sexily.
Sexily.
Well, I want to do it so that it's easier because in Scion I had like skulls that appeared, but they were kind of hard to see. But with this, I've kind of got an idea that we could just put circles down there in the two different columns, like beneath us, where we don't really have to advertise or put our game title in. But I could just move like a bar behind them that slowly fills up these bubbles. Kind of like a slider.
Well, they're because they're all group pools.
Yeah, and then you can see it.
Peak, yeah.
Yeah, they do hit I think they eventually hit a peak. Well, I'll reread the rules before next because that's been a little while. And then the last thing I want to touch on, and then we'll call it in just a couple minutes, is the game that I want to run is between PG-13 and R-rated. It's an adult game that will have adult situations. You all have ran games underneath me before, so you know that when I say that, usually The violence can be fairly gratuitous. Any type of sexual or romantic content is never gratuitous, is usually a fade to black moment. Because I think having romance and sexuality in games is really important, but also like rolling for how well you're getting it on is kind of weird and silly. But if you want to do it just for like your might rolls, you get two superheroes together and see how many buildings you collapse, like that is different, and I'm down for that roll. I'm down for that roll.
Adds to the collateral.
Super speed, man. How vibrate the building to death.
Like, how many dots of mega stamina do you have?
Exactly. So I think those jokes will come up,
Yes.
but I'm never going to put you in a situation where you will have to react in a way that makes you uncomfortable, and you all have the opportunity to just say like, and we fade to black or something like that. We just fade to black. You know, it's not a big deal. Treat it like a TV show. Also, I have specifically tailored this campaign this chronicle will not cover homophobia, transphobia, racism. I'm not interested in touching on those subjects in any way that would be a negative for you or the viewers to experience. Unless you want me to create like Captain Nazi for you to punch, at which point I'll let you punch him before he says anything of note besides like a couple of heils maybe, which I think I might change that because I don't want that on camera of me saying any of that. So like,
I could be a different captain of maybe
go get some Hydra.
president?
Go get some. Oh heck,
You could punch
Hydra!
a former heck Hydra.
Heck, Hydra! things that you have to worry about when you're streaming. Roll for coitus collateral. Oh, that's
Oh my god!
Oh no!
Absolutely.
That sounds like you should
No.
see a doctor about that.
That's oh god. So I just want to put out that I'm not going to make
Bears down the
you all do
neighborhood.
anything, and I want you to reach out to me privately if there are any phobias, triggers, or anything that besides that you do not want in game. Okay. If anybody wants to bring something up that they really do want in game or really don't want in game that they're comfortable sharing, this is a great time for it.
I mean, I'll say I really enjoy Invincible and like the overall themes and everything, but like the amount of gore in it was too much gore for me.
Was it too much gore? Is descriptive gore too much for you?
Probably. If
Okay.
it's describing the kind of thing that happened in Invincible,
Okay.
yeah, it'll make me super squeamish.
Okay, so what I will do is
I'm good with like Marvel gore, you know, it's like something terrible happened, but it happened.
Okay, so you're fine with less graphic. So like if I was like comparing it to like visceral sensations, that would be too much, right?
Yeah.
Like someone
Maximum
would
of
be-
Deadpool?
Yeah, so
Deadpool made me so squeamish, especially when he got torn in half. Oh, like I can
Okay.
watch that stuff, but like, ugh.
so
Deadpool is maximum.
are you okay
Maximum
if
effort.
Deadpool is maximum? So and what I'll do is I'll
Deadpool's a little past maximum. If we
maximum?
don't hit that, that would be fine.
Okay. So I will try not to hit that. If I do, unless you just want to hard limit me, I would only do it for like a super dramatic moment.
I'll just make terrible noise. I mean, I watch these movies and shows, so like I
Okay.
can handle it. I'm just gonna make. You'll just have to hear me being like.
Okay. That'd be great if your character threw up too. Okay, I will limit the
Oh,
amount
she
of gratuity.
probably would. Yeah, I think that's like accurate.
So like in a lot of my games, especially because like I run a lot of D&D on my channel too, you gotta add visceral quality in, or else it just gets like you hit him with your sword, you hit him with your sword again, you know.
Blood's okay. Okay, I'm like totally okay with like obscene amounts of blood, but like organs.
Okay, organs.
Ugh.
The other thing that a couple of my other players on other games have are no eyeballs or fingernails.
Yeah. Ugh,
Yeah.
ugh,
Yeah.
ugh, ugh.
Okay. I think I can do this where it's visceral but not gratuitous. I think I can walk that line. Anybody else have anything
Not-
else?
Zoning on it. I was gonna agree with that. Like I'm not so bad with the descriptions, but yeah, because like saying like, oh yeah, you hit him and you feel a bone break under your hand.
Mm.
That's not so bad. But
Yeah.
if it's like, yeah, his organs start spilling out and
Ugh.
yeah,
he
exactly.
He
It's-
pop like I think I wouldn't go into. I'd be like, you know, you pop him like a water
Stop
balloon.
making examples.
Pull out a water balloon.
You know, like is that too much if I don't go any deeper? I don't explain what's in the water balloon.
I'll just cauterize it instantly.
Oh, that's
anyway,
fair.
So it's
It's
not a problem.
fine. Exactly. It's all good.
Like Star Wars is okay, right? Like Star Wars,
Yeah.
they cut arms off or cut
Yeah.
Count Dooku's head off, but like you don't like see the stub where the head was, and you can't like tell that he had a spine and stuff.
Okay, so you don't want Mortal Kombat, and we don't want to see the whale. We don't want the whale from the
The
boys.
whale's so good.
Boys,
The
oh my
whale was
God.
the best part of that
Let's-
season.
I loved
It
the
was
whale.
so
I
gross.
loved the whale.
What do you say,
I
I
don't
Kristen?
know if I should
don't
laugh
make
or cry.
Don't make anything wet.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, if you
But,
could, if you
but
could
our
avoid
prime
the word
minister
moist,
moistens everything.
Stop.
Only speaking. Only when you
Hard
speak.
line moist. Hard
Yeah,
line is good.
My office is pretty damp, so
Yeah, you got enough
Damn.
wet.
yeah.
Fine.
Oh, God.
Moist?
No.
No.
Snow Angel is
Don't
totally gonna have
speak
like an Instagram
moistly.
rapport with Trudeau. They're gonna like have a bouncing off each
Yeah.
other.
Is there
Please
anything
do,
else that
please
you
do.
all either really want or don't want in this game? Okay.
No, I think we'll
Yeah.
see where it goes.
I'm
Okay.
down for,
I
like,
personally-
romance or
I'm-
anything else.
Yeah, my limit for gore, I love watching Deadpool. So like for
Okay.
me, I'm fine with gore, but
Well, we're
Yeah.
gonna go with the lowest bar acceptable, right? So, one of the
I
things.
personally, for my character, I want to be pushed. Like, I want to be like have my limits pushed as far as a character goes. Like, find my weak points and exploit them, especially character wise.
I'm interested in difficult decisions. Yeah.
yeah. The morality, I really like that idea of playing with the morality and the choices that you have with the responsibility of powers and stuff like that.
So one of the things that's going to be really tricky to do, one of my goals in this game is to frustrate you as characters, maybe a little bit as players, with the... Well, Mike will get this better than anybody because he was in my Technocracy game. I had an entire game where the characters had to fill out personality tests and evaluations on people. It was a 3-hour session of them filling in a bubble sheet that I created. Like, they were doing paperwork for 3 hours in character. And it was a great episode. It was a really good episode, but like it was really aggravating to be in that character, but like everybody really liked it. So my goal is to make this game kind of frustrating. You're going to be dealing with super fans. You're going to be dealing with people that for lack of a better term, fetishize you, right? I'm going to watch that towing of the line there. So that it is not anything that is icky beyond what we signed up for with this. Because I have a good sense of what you're all comfortable with. But I also want it to kind of represent that your characters are celebrities.
Yeah.
And you're
If
dealing...
they're celebrities, there's people who are going to cosplay them as superheroes. And if there's people that cosplay them, there's going to be people who do like lewd cosplay.
Yeah,
of them.
lewd cosplay, porn videos of you. Like,
Inks.
like what would that be? Like you'd have Blow Angel, you'd have...
Oh my god.
You'd have Molson Clam or Clamato or something like that. Like there'd be all of these. Ignition would just be like the hot one. You know?
Mummy muscle.
Rush would be like
Mummy muscle.
mommy muscle, mommy muscle, mommy muscle.
Oh, gross. I hate
Because
it.
you're playing
I hate
your
my
character's
brain.
MILF age, right?
Yeah.
So she's mommy muscle.
Do you think our characters have like a bet pool going where if you can find like porn crossovers between our superheroes,
think-
like someone wins a pool?
I think
Someone
that there
brings
is.
it
I
up
think
and
there's
I'm
a
like-
porn pool. I think there's a porn pool.
Yeah, there's definitely
Yeah.
a porn pool.
Or possibly like Tessa and Piper have like a bet going or whatever that like
I would honestly, it would be like our like teams, like our assistants and like the people that do all of the bureaucracy, the guys in
Yeah.
the office, they have that pool and
Oh,
it's like on a
yeah.
board and someone
Right?
walks in on it.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
All right, so
and someone will be like, oh yeah, so who had Catherine
gush.
and Donnie?
Oh no.
who had Tess and Piper on a train? Like, okay,
Right?
man,
Washing a car.
washing a car together.
why does
God.
Ignition have to like help this lady with her pipes? Like, why is he a plumber in this video?
Yeah, right.
It should be the stove. Like stove
Yes.
problems makes more
Exactly.
That's the problem, right?
sense.
And they
Always
get
have,
all
like-
frustrated, like, man, at least could the porn be more accurate to their actual characters? Damn it.
Hey, want to come over to my place and have a barbecue? You'll never guess what I got on the grill.
I got a lot of meat.
I think that would be that would be your guy porn video, right? It'd be your gay porn video. Would be
yes.
like
Oh,
the
definitely.
daddy barbecue.
Oh no.
Oh no!
Oh, there would
Oh.
totally be porn of double,
No.
but like
Oh,
they
there
find
would.
twins to do
Oh
it.
yeah.
Oh yeah, double and
I'm really sad we don't have a fifth character in this game called Double now.
Yeah.
You can try
Like-
and track one down before next week, Kelly.
I offered to have a fifth person. I was gonna see if like a couple of our nerdier players would want to join, but
We all truly understand humanity in this day and age. Correct,
Gosh.
hot dog.
Oh no! Someone just said "gush" for Rush's
It's so
porn
bad.
name. Oh no!
Oh, I hate it. I hate it
that's
so
so
much.
awful.
Yeah.
That's so
So
awful.
much.
Oh, okay.
He totally
All right.
has.
That
Yeah,
note-
that's our total porn.
On that note, folks, thank you for tuning in. Your homework before next week, you four, is I need you to read the book again, get acquainted with kind of your basic mechanics, okay? What the difference between enhancements and successes are, and basically like what. Put a lot of bookmarks down. Print off the pages of the PDF because we're still using PDFs at this point because the books are still being. I think they're probably printed by now. They just haven't been mailed to me. But like, get yourself ready. What I also want you to do is I want you to come up with at least one connection you have in Project Utopia, someone you know around the headquarters that you talk to. Like, you know, Bob in the mailroom type of thing, or whoever told you about the porn pool, right? Because it's a workplace, right? And I want you to provide me with at least one, if not two or three, things that your character is weak to. For example, maybe one of you is an alcoholic. Maybe one of you has an ex-husband or wife that you are paying alimony to. That could be Snow Angel. Snow Angel could have gotten married off at 18 and had, like, you know, still pays alimony to keep this person quiet under the table. Right? Or else it comes out on Instagram. Like, I want you to think about, like...
Or had a kid at 16.
Or had a kid at... Maybe the kid has wings too.
Mm. Cool.
You know?
Yeah.
Oh, then we get an entire ethical issue of like, do you clip the wings at birth? Like, and then is this like, you know,
So
we're not
hard.
getting into, but like, there's a lot of stuff going on here that we could really, really play with. And I'd like you to send me some ideas for what kind of things you want and what darkness you want to explore, because this game is going to be a lot about making bad decisions. And I hope you make a lot of bad decisions because that's what I plotted for. So
Yes.
Fabulous.
that's why I
I'm
picked you four
excited.
specifically. All right.
We're good at making bad decisions.
We're
We're
gonna
good
make
at
a bad
making
decision.
bad decisions.
You look at our
yes!
life. This is just we're all in bad places.
It's true. No, is there anything else you want to say before we call it?
I'm actually really excited to be playing with this group because I've been in like very few games with everyone, but those few
Yeah.
games have all been like amazing and magical. So I'm kind of like fanboying being here right now. So thank
I
you for
know.
letting me be part of this.
Right, me too.
Absolutely.
I'm really
I was
excited.
just having
to
that
play.
conversation. I was just having that conversation with Bryn. We were literally just saying
Like how
that,
it's
like,
a really good crew. Yeah.
yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm so excited to play with these guys because I've like barely played with Mike. We played one or two games, I guess, together. We did Star Trek.
We did Star Trek, which was amazing.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then I love Bryn so very, very much.
Mm.
And Robin and I have barely been able to
Right,
connect.
I know.
So I'm like
I'm the
super stoked.
newbie, so like I'm
Yeah.
excited to play with more people from the Dork Tales team. Like, Michael, I think this is our first game together, and I'm looking
I think I'm
forward to
gonna-
that.
No, we did one in Extra Life,
Oh
Yeah.
right, yes,
but
yes.
but it was so minimal that
that was yeah, the Casino Corral one, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that game was.
That's what I play with Bryn too, yeah.
That's true. What were you going to say, Brent?
I love those animal games.
Those are so
Oh,
great.
I was just gonna say one day I think I'm gonna meet Robin in person. And it's gonna be weird.
Oh, yes, because we have the Dork
Yeah.
Tales retreat later this year.
Oh yeah, we are. We're gonna
Yeah.
see each other then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy. I'm
Which
less
I'm
attractive
excited.
in person. I'm so sorry.
there's still we can have more people come on that. So yeah, we good. All right. So
I'm so awkward. It's gonna be great.
it's so great. We're gonna play board games and talk about Dork Tales projects. All right.
Yes.
So, folks, we really appreciate you coming out here and watching this session 0 with us. We are going to be here next Saturday at 2 p.m. in costume, ready to roll with episode 1, which is called. Episode 1 is. Oh, the A Team. That's right. Our episode titles, I'll give you the episode titles because you'd be able to find them on IMDb if this was a TV show. So this is a 5-episode run. We hope you stick with us for The A-Team, Feeling Super, False Flag, Cape and Dagger, and Terror in Terminal City, which is our 5-episode run. It's going to be a lot of fun. This is one of the funnest plots that I've been able to put together in a while. Just like, it's so snappy and quick and frustrating, and it's going to be great. We're going to try to make this just like watching a good episode of a superhero TV show for you, and we really hope that you enjoy it. If you like what we do here on Onyx Path, and thank you so much, Onyx Path, for having us over here, come over and visit us on twitch.tv dorktales or youtube.com/dorktales, where this is going to be. If you're watching on YouTube, it's already here. We'd love to have you over there, and I'll just pop that in the chat real quick so you can find us.
And a hot dog wizard asks, will you post this to YouTube afterwards?
Yes, it will be posted 2 weeks afterward, because Onyx Path has, because I'm running it on Onyx Path, they get it, I think, for a full week, but it might be 10 days. I can't remember. I always do it 2 weeks afterwards when I'm running on Onyx Path, just to give them a little bit more exclusivity time. So it'll be 2 weeks after, it will be posted, and it will be a lot of fun. Or you can come here and watch it live, or you can go to Dork Tales, where I will be hosting this every week, so you can watch it via the Dork Tales site, or via the Onyx Path Twitch. And I think that's going to be it for us today. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. Stay super, and we will, I know I had to, and we'll see you next week. All right, bye everybody.
Bye.
Bye.